Hello students, welcome back to this unit on retail marketing mix. In the previous video, I was discussing with you about price as one of the mixes in the retail marketing mix. And while discussing with you about the price mix, I had discussed that what is the importance of price and what are the objectives of pricing by a organization. I also spoke to you about the pricing policy that is followed by the organization, and further to that I also explained about the factors influencing retail marketing price. Now, in connection with that, I thought that I would discuss with you also about price sensitivity, because I did speak in the previous video about price sensitivity and price elasticity. So I'll just try to explain to you the meaning of these two terms. Now, what is price sensitivity? Price sensitivity is the degree with which the consumer gets affected by the differences of prices of a particular product. So this influences the customer's purchasing behavior. So if the customer finds that one particular product is low priced and another product is high priced, that might affect his purchasing behavior. In economics, subject price sensitivity is measured using the price elasticity of demand. For this, I'll give you an example. Some consumers are not willing to pay even an extra few rupees per liter of petrol, especially if the lower priced station is petrol pump is nearby. So therefore, this indicates that the customers want uh, always to be always that the price should be at a moderate range. So therefore, some consumers or customers are not willing to pay even a few extra rupees per liter of petrol, even if the petrol pump is situated close by. So what they will do is they will go a little further away and search for a petrol pump which will offer them petrol at a lesser price. So the price sensitivity of a product also varies with the level of importance that the customers place on the price relative to other purchasing criteria. For example, the customers who want always top quality goods, they are less price sensitive than the bargain hunters. So you find people always bargaining, those people always look for cheaper goods. But there are some customers who always want high quality goods, so they are not bothered about what the price is. As long as the quality is good, they are willing to purchase those goods. So price sensitivity refers to the degree with which the price affects a customer's purchasing behavior. So some people are less price sensitive and some people are highly price sensitive. So less price sensitive are those people who are not bothered about the price of the product. They are only interested in getting good quality products. Highly price sensitive people are those people who are very concerned about the price of the product that they are manufacturing, and even for getting the product at a few rupees less, they are prepared to go an extra mile or make an extra effort to get such product at a cheaper price. So the highly price sensitive people, we call them as the careful buyers and the choosy buyers, or we call them as the bargaining hunters, whereas the less price sensitive people are the people who rely on quality, and therefore they are prepared to pay more. They have more income also to pay for the goods, and they want quality items. That is about price sensitivity. Now let me talk to you about elasticity of demand. The now we you already know about price sensitivity. Let me talk to you about elasticity of demand. This also is a topic which is taught to you in economics. Now, the level of sensitivity for a given product is known in economics as elasticity of demand. That means you are measuring the level of sensitivity. So, the level of sensitivity which is measured for a particular product in economics, that is called as elasticity of demand. The law of demand states that a relative price increase leads to a drop in the quantity demanded, which means that as per the law of demand, if there is a small increase in the price level, then obviously the demand for the product will come down slightly. High elasticity means that customers are willing to purchase a product even after the price increases. So if there is a situation where the customers are not bothered and they are willing to buy the product even after the price has increased, we call it a situation of high elasticity. Inelastic demand means even small price increases significantly affects lower demand. So therefore, now you have understood what is the meaning of price sensitivity and elasticity of demand. Influence of price sensitivity. As I told you previously, the buyers of luxury goods are often less sensitive than the buyers of everyday items. The more options that a buyer has, he becomes more sensitive to the price change. Higher priced goods such as cars, heating like water heaters and cooling systems, washers and dryers, they usually lead to greater price sensitivity since they take up a large percentage of the buyer's budget. Now when you have to allocate a larger portion of your money or your income to buying costly items, then people become a little more price sensitive. So they compare prices between different products, especially middle income and lower income group people. If they have to allocate a major chunk of their salary towards buying of uh, products such as cars, heating system, or cooling system such as an air conditioner or a washing machine, they are generally considered to be price sensitive because they are parting up away with such a huge amount of their money. So therefore they are going to be highly price sensitive. Whereas if the buyer or the customer is a person who is having a lot of money, a lot of salary, and he's buying luxury goods, then he's found to be less price sensitive. So this is the influence of price sensitivity. Now, what can be done about pricing of goods with respect to such customers, that is those who are price sensitive customers? How can you rightly price the products? So for this, what the businesses do is they set the prices at the exact best point where the supply and demand helps them in producing the optimum revenue. So they work out figures where they find out the supply and the demand should get them the optimum revenue. This kind of pricing is called as the equilibrium price. That is where supply equals to demand and therefore the businesses can make optimum revenue. That is known as the equilibrium price. I will spell it out for you. EQUILIBRIUM, equilibrium price. Now, how do they do this? They take the help of computer software models, and they do real-time analysis of sales volume at a given price point, and then this helps them in determining the equilibrium prices. So it's not an easy task. They have to take the help of so much of reports and analysis, and thereafter reach this determination of price. Even if a small price increases or diminishes the sales volume, the relative gains in revenue may overcome a proportionally smaller decline in consumer purchases. So this is how the right pricing can help them in achieving their objective, taking the equilibrium price. So therefore, price sensitivity is also called as elasticity of demand. So I'll summarize this whatever I've discussed with you right now. Price sensitivity is also called as elasticity of demand, and it is the degree to which price affects the sales of a product or service. So there is a formula for calculating price sensitivity. You can note this down if you have a paper and pen with you. Price sensitivity is equal to percentage of change in quantity purchased divided by the percentage of change in price. So I'll repeat once again. Price sensitivity is equal to percentage of change in quantity purchased divided by the percentage of change in price. So you can work it out if possible with a little bit of data. I'll repeat this once again. With respect to consumer behavior, price sensitivity is also called as elasticity of demand, and it is the degree to which price affects the sales of a product or service. So you can use the formula. Suppose you are asked some 2 marks question about what is price sensitivity. You can give this explanation along with the formula. You can also be asked question about what is elasticity of demand. Now, having understood all these concepts and whatever I have taught you in the previous video, let us now understand what are the different types of pricing strategy that is considered by organizations. So we have seen all these slides in the previous video also. So let us understand the pricing strategy. In this slide you can observe over here. Point number 1 states that determine the minimum price for which you are willing to sell your product for. Okay, and then point number 2 states determine the maximum price. So you have it here. You have a minimum price and you have a maximum price. Minimum price is the price below which you are not willing to price your product. This is because the minimum price will cover only your production cost and the cost of distribution of the items, and determining the maximum price helps you in a way that you will be on par with competitors. Now the third point states that determine 5 exact prices within the minimum and maximum price range. That means there are different types of pricing strategies which I will discuss with you in the slides that we come across a little later on. So in that there are different types of price, and that is why we call it as a pricing mix. All of you should understand one thing, that you cannot have one single price for all the goods that are manufactured by the company. Similarly, you cannot have one single price at all times for a single product also. So you might have to change the price depending upon the situation and the requirements. So determining 5 exact prices which would fall within the minimum and maximum price range is the third step that the company has to undertake. After that, we come to the fourth point. Use Google consumer surveys to test 5 prices for your product. Nowadays, with the help of technology and science, you can use all this kind of aids to help you understand how to test the 5 prices for your product. So the analytics will help you to understand how you should price your products. Now, a little earlier, I told you that when you want to check the price sensitivity based on percentage formula, price sensitivity based on a formula, I told you that they take the help of some computer software models, as well as do a real time analysis of the sales volume at a given price point to determine the equilibrium prices. So these are certain aids that can be used by an organization to arrive at 5 best prices for your product. That's the fourth strategy. The fifth strategy is input the results from Google consumer surveys into a pricing spreadsheet. So whatever you have used a Google consumer survey, and what in the fourth step you have used that survey, and whatever result you have got from that Google consumer survey, put it into a pricing spreadsheet. That is the fifth strategy. And after that, do an analysis, which is the sixth stage. Do an analysis and arrive at the optimized price for the value that you're entering. So that means you are giving benefit to the customers, that is value you're giving to the customers. And now, based on the consumer survey, you have arrived at an idea about what is the optimum price that you should fix for your product. So look at the entire thing once again. You are determining minimum price below which you are not willing to sell your product. You are determining the maximum price above which you are not planning to sell the product, because that will probably not go well with the customers if they are getting your competitors product at a lower rate. And the third step is to determine 5 exact prices which falls both within the minimum as well as the maximum price range. Fourth step is to use Google consumer surveys to test 5 prices for your product. The 5 prices that you fixed between the minimum price and the maximum price, after which you will put the results of the Google consumer surveys into a pricing spreadsheet, and thereafter ultimately you make an analysis and you arrive at the optimum price for the value that you are giving to the customers. I hope you have understood the pricing strategy. Now let's talk about the price mix. Price is one of the most important variables that we have discussed previously. So we know that price is one of the most important variables in retail buying decision. This is because price is what generates revenue to the organization. Only if they get back money from what they sell can they make the payment to their employees, and they can purchase raw materials and again carry out the production process for further sale. So therefore, one has to take a lot of care while fixing the price for a product. It is a factor which makes or mars a retail organization. So it can help you to succeed in your business, or price can break the business as well. If you have priced it wrong, your goods wrongly, it can result in losses for your organization, and therefore further business cannot be carried on. It is also the easiest and quickest element to change. As I told you a little while earlier, that one price will not be fixed for a product at all times. So you have to keep changing the price depending upon the situation. So therefore, this is the easiest factor which can be changed. Like we spoke about product mix. You have manufactured a product, and you have manufactured lakhs or millions of units of that product. to be sold. Say you have manufactured cars or you have manufactured computers. Now if you want to change the product and manufacture a different product, obviously all these products should first be sold, then only you will think about changing to another product. So amongst all the mixes that we are discussing, price mix is the one which is the easiest and the quickest element to change. Pricing helps an organization to achieve its objective for most companies is to make maximum profit. So it helps the organization to achieve its objective. It enables the organization to go for expansion activities, to go for diversification, because only once you get money can you do all these things. So whatever else also is the objective of the company, the pricing helps the organization to achieve that objective. Pricing is particularly significant for new market entrants who need to first establish a brand and then enjoy increasing profits as the brand gets market acceptability. So people who enter newly into a market, who are starting a business fresh or for the first time, they should be very conscious about the price that they are going to fix, because because they are new to the market, customers do not know them, customers may not purchase the product if the product is priced highly. So therefore they should very cautiously fix the price, try to fix the price in a very rational manner, and which is possible for the customer to purchase. After they have made the customer aware about their product and the customer starts enjoying the product and experiencing it and likes it, then they can slowly start raising the price of the product, because the product has got market acceptability. Like for example, I told you in the previous video that Peter England shirts, Alan Solly shirts, these are shirts which have got a lot of branding. That's people associate these brands with good quality. So therefore they are today in a position to price their products at a higher rate. But if you are a new entrant into the market and you have come out with your own brand for the first time, then you need to first establish a brand, make it acceptable to the customers, and then slowly raise the price and then make increasing profits. For a customer, price is the main reason to visit a particular store. Out of all the mix, price is the one factor which really influences a person to visit a store. So whatever said and done, price is a very influencing factor when it comes to buying behavior. Now let's understand this price in a better fashion. It is the amount of money charged, but beyond that, it is the sum of all values that the consumers exchange for the benefits of having or using a product or service. So it is the amount of money which is charged by the company, and in return, what does the customer get? The customer get a sum or a combination of all values in that exchange. When they part with the money, they get some value added benefit. Historically, the major factor affecting buyer choice is non-price factors, and this is becoming increasingly important. So from earlier days onwards, that is historically, the major factor which has been affecting buyer has been the price. So from the good old days also, if any commodity is low price, people were interested in purchasing it. Even now it is more or less the same, but today because of some people are earning very high levels of income, so therefore non-price factors are also becoming increasingly important. So this is for non-price factors are important for the less price sensitive people, because they have a lot of money with them. They can afford to be uh, they can afford to concentrate on non-price factors such as quality of the product. So for them, price is not a major factor. But in the good old days as well as today also, many of us are interested in buying products which are low price. This is because we are highly price sensitive, and non-price factors apply to those people who are less price sensitive. The only element in the marketing mix that produces revenues, all others represent cost. So when I spoke to you about the marketing mix in the previous video, I told you that we have product mix, we have price mix, there is a promotion mix, and there is place mix. These are the four important mix, the first four important mix that forms a part of the marketing mix. Now if you look at all the mixes, product mix and promotion and place mix, all of them represent cost. That means the company has to incur cost for manufacturing product. They have to incur cost, they have to incur money or cost for promoting the promotional purposes. They have to incur money. Likewise, for physical distribution, that is place also, place mix also, they have to incur cost. But price mix is the only element in the marketing mix which is going to give them revenues, which means that that is the only mix which is going to give them income. So for the company, the only element in the marketing mix that produces revenues is the price mix, whereas all other mix represents cost. Price is a flexible tool but often handled poorly. So price can be changed. Price in the previous slide I told you that price can be changed, and price can one price cannot be kept at all times, so the price has to be flexible. But it is often handled poorly. It is too cost oriented and tactical versus customer value oriented and strategic. Should sell value, not price. What this means is that though price is a flexible tool, that means you can change the price whenever you want it depending upon the facts and circumstances of the case, many companies do not know how to price the product differently at different times. So what happens is they only think about it from the cost orientation point of view. They do not look at it from the customer value point of view. Now customer value means what benefit is the customer going to get. So most companies, because they incur cost in manufacturing a product, they think from the cost point of view, but there is also a benefit that is being given to the customer. So therefore the company should sell value and they should not sell the price. So this is important. So once again we go through all the 4 points. What is price? Price is the amount of money which is charged by the company, and this in return the customer gets a sum of values for having purchased the product or service and given the money to the organization. From good old days as well as presently also, the major factor which affects buying behavior is the price factor. But for some customers who are especially quite rich, for them non-price factors are becoming increasingly important. The only element in the marketing mix that produces revenues is the price mix, whereas all other marketing mix factors, they represent the costs. Price is a flexible tool, but it is often handled poorly because organizations are more cost oriented rather than customer value oriented. So to overcome this, they should sell the value of the goods and not the price of the goods. Let's look at the price mix. Price is a matter of vital importance to the buyer and the seller. That is why every marketer takes special interest in fixing and implementing his pricing policy. The price mix of a firm includes the following items. First one, pricing policies and strategies. We have already discussed about the pricing policies that a company can have, and in this video in the first slide itself, first or second slide itself, I have discussed with you about the strategies. Terms of credit refers to the money that is easily available from banks to carry out the business process, and not only banks, from other financial institutions. What is the cost of borrowing, cost of capital, all that, and repayment terms, all that forms terms of credit. So that also determines how you're going to fix the price. Resale price maintenance. At what level do you want the resellers to sell the goods? Profit margin. How much profit do you desire on the goods that you have manufactured and are selling? Delivery terms. What are the terms and conditions of selling the goods? Is there any return policy? Is there any exchange policy? All of that. Or is there any after sales service? Is there a warranty for the product? All of that. And how do you transport the goods? All those things are considered under delivery terms, and that also will determine how much you will price the goods at. So price mix includes the following items: the pricing policies and strategies, terms of credit, resale price maintenance, profit margin, and delivery terms. Let's look at this graphical representation. If you look at the yellow arrows that is shown over here, you have a ceiling price and you have a floor price. Ceiling price means the price at that is the maximum price beyond which if the company sells, they will be taking a huge risk, because the customers may not buy their product because the competitor's price for the similar product may be lower than theirs. So you should not allow the price to go above this maximum price, that is the ceiling price. So the ceiling price can be brought down if the company takes a lot of care in ensuring that the costs are controlled. So therefore ceiling price should be kept as low as possible. The floor price is the price below which the company will not sell, and ceiling price is the price above which the company will not sell. So the floor price represents all the costs involved in selling the goods, in manufacturing the goods and selling the goods. So that is the minimum recovery that the company will be expecting from the customers buying their goods. So the price can never go below this, and if it goes below this, then the company is operating at a loss. So the floor price is the minimum price below which the company cannot price its goods. So here care has to be taken that the company is controlling its cost and therefore keeps the floor price at its minimum. Ceiling price is the maximum price above which the company cannot price its products, and because it runs a risk of the competitors getting a larger share of the market because of price advantage. In between is what the strategy has to be. As I told you in the second slide that I showed you in this video, that there should be various strategies in between the maximum price and the minimum price, and to do that you can take Google consumer survey and so on. So now the roof of the diagram here represents the customer perceptions of the value that can be got by buying your product, and in the body of the diagram or of the house, it is mentioned marketing strategy, marketing objectives, marketing mix, nature of the market, nature of demand, and so on. And look at all the external factors which are in the form of arrows. You have competitors' actions affecting all the items that are mentioned in the body. Economic conditions affects your strategy, objectives, mix, demand. Government regulation, rules and policies affect your functioning. Trade practices also impacts your strategy, your objectives, and the demand for your product. So therefore, you can see at the bottom you have a product cost, and with respect to the product cost you are going to fix the minimum price or the floor price, and on the top you see the ceiling price, which is the maximum price, and with the help of the maximum price you are going to determine what the customer is going to think about your product in terms of value, and this price cannot be fixed above that of your competitor's price, and if at all you do price it, you will be taking a lot of risk. And the arrows at the side, the blue arrows at the side, determine the external factors which affect the internal marketing factors. I have spoken about the factors influencing retail price in the previous video. Please connect this concept with those information, and you will be able to relate to it very easily. Pricing objectives were also spoken to you in the previous video, so let's look at it once again quickly. In pricing objectives, you have the profit related objectives, competition related objectives, sales related objectives, and other objectives, as well as customer related objectives. So let's see what are the pricing objectives. If it is profit related objectives, the pricing objective can be to have maximum current profit. This also was discussed in the previous video. That is, in the short term you want to make maximum profit. That can be one of the profit objective. Or your objective can be to have a target return on investment, which means that you have invested in capital, you have invested in machinery, you have invested in plant and building. So you have predetermined that this is the investment that I have made, so I should get a certain percentage of return on my investment, and this would happen in the medium to long term period that you desire to have that return. So it's never a short term return that you're expecting, but you're hoping to get it over a period of time. So therefore these two factors can be your profit related objectives. Now coming to competition related objectives, in pricing, your pricing should be such that you should be able to face the competition. So if you have rival firms also manufacturing similar products, you should be able to face them, and you should be able to withstand the competition. You should not be scared of facing them boldly. You should also be able to keep competitors away. That means not only is it important to face the competitors boldly, it is also important to ensure that with your pricing you are able to keep the competitors away. That means in spite of there being so many competitors, there should be customers who still wants to buy your product. So therefore, in the face of competition, you should be able to sell your products. To achieve quality leadership by pricing, so your pricing should be such that you have products of various qualities, and you can always get leadership, or you can prove to the customers that you are pricing your products at a certain range because you're offering that kind of quality for the product. So if, say for example, you're pricing your product at rupees 120, whereas your competitor is pricing it at 100, you should be able to convey to the customers that you're pricing your product at 120 because there is an extra something that you're offering to the customer. So you should justify that difference in the price, so that you can show them that quality leadership you can show them by pricing it a little higher. That is possible. And the next competition related objective is to remove competitors. Your further aim should be to remove this competition, because you deserve to get a, or you should aim to get a better market share and thereby remove the competitors from the market. That is the success of a business organization, that one should always be aiming at removing the competition. Then only you can survive in the market. If you have 10 other people competing with you and you are the 11th person over there, the share of each person in the market is going to be divided amongst this 11 people. But if you can by producing better products, better quality products, if you can or by your various other mix strategies, if you can hope to sell more goods, you can remove competition from the market. For example, you may provide a better after sales service, because of which the competition can be removed, or your pricing strategy can be changed to suit the situation, and with the help of that you can remove competitors. Let's discuss the third pricing objective, which we can classify it as customer related. I hope you have understood this classification. So the third classification is customer related objective. So when you're pricing a good, one of the objectives can be to satisfy your customers. So let's see, to win the confidence of customers, when you price your product at a particular range, you should be able to instill confidence in them that you are pricing it rightly. They should feel that they have got value for the amount of money that they have given you. Only if they feel that you have charged them reasonably will you win their confidence. Otherwise, they will not have loyalty towards you and they will not feel like ever buying your goods if they feel that they have been cheated by you pricing your goods at a high level. So customer related objectives, the second one is to satisfy customers. So after you have won the confidence of customers, thereafter every time that you bring about some value addition to your product, you can always educate your customers as to why you have priced it at that particular range, and then continue to satisfy your customers in a long lasting relationship at all times without cheating them, and by being fair with them regarding the price. The next objective of pricing is with respect to sales. So pricing should be done in such a manner, the price should be fixed in such a manner that it helps in selling the goods and there is a sales growth happening. So in a month, if the organization has sold around 50,000 units, the next month they should be able to sell at least more than that, that is 55,000 to 60,000, if not more. So there should be a constant sales growth. The target market share means, suppose there are four companies manufacturing the same product, and each of them have got a 25% market share, and you are one amongst those four players in the market, and each of you have a 25% market share. You can aim to increase the market share. That is, by removing the competition, you should aim to increase. So you can hope to achieve in the next few months a 30% market share or a 75% market share. So the aim should be always there. Target market share means the market share with respect to your target segment. Now the next pricing objective is to price your goods in such a manner that it helps in achieving other objectives. Other objectives are those which do not fall within the first four objectives which I have already discussed with you. Now what are those objectives? These are objectives of market penetration. Market penetration means you are entering into the you want to enter deeper into the market. So you are, or you are at an entry level, or you want to further deepen your you deepen your approach into the market. So if that is the purpose, then accordingly uh, you should be pricing your commodity. So your the market penetration can either be at the entry level, you are a new entrant in the market, or you are an old entrant and you want to reach deeper portion of your market by reaching out to more customers. So there you have to appropriately decide upon your pricing factor. Next one is promoting a new product. So you have a new product and you want to promote it. There you have to decide upon the pricing. You want to maintain the image and reputation. So sometimes some companies are there who want to maintain a certain image in the minds of the customers. So even if they are they are not earning much profit, or even if they're suffering loss, they don't mind continuing to keep the price at the same level though they are suffering loss. But in the minds of the customers, they want to maintain a good image and a good reputation. So that is the ultimate aim. So even if for various reasons they should have increased the price of the product because of many external reasons, such as international pricing and so on, they still do not do that because they want the goodwill of the people of the society. To skim the cream from the market. So if suppose you have brought a new product in the market and there are no competitors who are manufacturing that product, then you want to milk the cream. That is called as skimming the cream from the market. So you'll price your goods very high, and you will get the maximum advantage of such high pricing. Whereas for market penetration, generally we see that the company prices the goods low, and in skimming the cream they price the goods high. For price stability, sometimes companies want price stability, so they're not willing to change as per the fluctuations in the market. They want the customer to enjoy price stability, so they will not vary the price of market quite often, especially in the short run. They may vary the price or change the price in the long run only. To maintain price stability, therefore that could be one objective of the organization, and the other objective could be for survival and growth. So your pricing should take care of the company's survival and growth also. The company should be able to meet its expenses, pay all its bill, pay all its employees. They should be able to live in this world and also grow into a prosperous organization. So these were all the pricing objectives that a company has to take into consideration while fixing the price of the goods. Now coming back to pricing strategy, as per the second slide that I had shown you, the pricing strategy must be consistent over a period of time, which means that if you fix a price, of course price need not be always constant, but at least it should be constant for a period of time. That means at least for some time it should be same or constant or consistent. You cannot keep changing the pricing strategy on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. At least for a few months it should continue to be the same price, or the same strategy should be followed. So suppose you are trying to have a discount pricing. You cannot give a discount price at all times, at every time. So you might follow a discount pricing for a particular period of time, and maybe during festival time. So such kind of pricing strategy should be followed. Consider retailers' overall positioning, profit, sales, and appropriate rate of return on investment. When you're pricing the goods, you have to take into consideration, the company has to take into consideration the retailer's overall positioning, profits, sales, and appropriate rate of return on investment. The lowest price does not necessarily need to be the best price, but the lowest responsible price is the best right price. I hope you are understanding this. Just because you price your goods at the lowest price, that does not mean that that is the best price, but the lowest responsible price, that is, you have taken into consideration your constraints, you have taken into consideration the buyer's problem. After taking all this into consideration, if you have taken the lowest responsible price, then that is the best right price for your product. The difference between sales price and cost price is the profit. We all know that, we have studied this in maths. Selling price minus cost price is equal to profit. Pricing cannot be determined in isolation because there are so many factors impacting pricing. So we have studied about factors influencing the retail marketing price. So taking all that into consideration, pricing has to be decided, and not only at one time but at different periods in the product life cycle, we have to figure out what price should be fixed. The cost and operating expenses are equally important while establishing the retail price. Cost and operating expenses are the cost of manufacturing and the cost of delivering the goods to the customers. So these are also equally important while establishing the retail price. Pricing may be cost based or it may be market based. This means that you can decide to fix the price based on what cost you have incurred in manufacturing the goods, or you may decide to fix the price based on what customers want or what the competitors are pricing, how the competitors are pricing their products. So pricing may be cost based or it may be market based. Pricing can be profit oriented, government controlled, consumer oriented, or competition oriented. About customer oriented, consumer oriented, and competition oriented, I just mentioned about that in the earlier point. And it can also be profit oriented, where the company is only interested in making profits. Pricing can be profit oriented. It can be government control. For certain products, the government controls the price, so you cannot price your goods beyond what is regulated by the government. Or you can think from the consumer's point of view, their perception of value of your product, and based upon that you can price the product. Or you can base the pricing on what the competitors are doing. So if the competition is pricing their product at a particular rate, you can also decide to price your product at that particular rate, or below that rate, or a little higher than that rate. It all depends upon you, whether you want to make it whether you want to make the pricing profit oriented, or you want it of course, there's no choice with respect to government control, because that's government rules and regulations, you have got to follow it. So you can decide whether you want it to be profit oriented, consumer oriented, or competition oriented. The next one here is, pricing needs certain considerations before actually determining it. Market position of the product, consumer perception, stage of the product life cycle, competitor strategy, and overall marketing strategy. This I have discussed earlier on, so I'll not again discuss these things again. This is a graphical representation of what I spoke to you just now, and also it mentions the different types of pricing. I have some more slides where I have shown the graphical representation, so we'll understand that a little later on. So I'm skipping this slide and moving on. Here you have different types of pricing strategies. So we'll study the different types of pricing in the next video. I hope you have followed the concepts till here. Thank you for your patient listening. Hope to see you in the next video.